Robert Paul Holdstock was an English novelist and author best known for his works of Celtic, Nordic, Gothic and Pictish fantasy literature, predominantly in the fantasy subgenre of mythic fiction. Holdstock broke into print in 1968. His science fiction and fantasy works explore philosophical, psychological, anthropological, spiritual, and woodland themes. He received 3 BSFA awards and won the World Fantasy Award in the category of Best Novel of 1985. Biography. Robert Holdstock, the oldest of 5 children, was born in Hythe, Kent. His father, Robert Frank Holdstock, was a police officer and his mother, Kathleen Madeline Holdstock, was a nurse. At the age of 7, Robert started attending Gillingham Grammar School in the Medway towns. As a young adult he had jobs including banana boatman, construction worker and slate miner. He also earned a Bachelor of Science from University College of North Wales, Bangor, with honours in applied zoology. He continued his education, earning a Master of Science in Medical Zoology at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine in 1971. He conducted research at the Medical Research Council in London from 1971 to 1974, while also doing part-time writing. He became a full-time writer during 1976 and lived out the rest of his life in North London. He died in hospital at the age of 61, following his collapse with an E. coli infection on the 18th of November 2009. Writings. Robert Holdstock's first published story, Pauper's Plot, appeared in the magazine New Worlds in 1968. His first novel was a science fiction work, I Among the Blind, published in 1976. During the late 1970s and throughout the 1980s, Holdstock wrote many fantasy and science fiction novels along with a number of short stories, most of which were published under a pseudonym. Robert Holdstock's pseudonyms included Robert Faucon, Chris Carlson, Richard Kirk, Robert Black, Ken Blake, and Stephen Eisler. These included some adaptations of television scripts for TV tie-in novelizations, including some for the professionals. During this same period he wrote Space Wars, Worlds and Weapons, a series of essays about the various tropes of science fiction, interspersed with color reproductions of space art. In 1980, Holdstock co-wrote Tour of the Universe with Malcolm Edwards. The rights were subsequently sold for a space shuttle simulation ride at the CN Tower, also called the Tour of the Universe. Holdstock wrote novella The Dark Wheel, which was included with the best-selling computer game Elite in 1984. Holdstock also wrote The Emerald Forest, based on the film of the same title directed by John Boorman, and novelized episodes of the Granada television series Bullmin. Holdstock's breakthrough novel My Argo-Wood was published in 1984. It began the Rye Hope-Wood series, which continued until the appearance of a villain in 2009. Between 2001 and 2007, Holdstock produced a trilogy of fantasy novels, the Merlin Codex, consisting of Celtic, the Iron Grail and the Broken Kings. Holdstock wrote, edited and contributed to a number of non-fiction works, including Alien Landscapes, Tour of the Universe, Horror, 100 Best Novels and an Encyclopedia of Science Fiction. In 2013, a joint volume of poetry with Gary Kilworth was published by PS Publishing, Poems, Pems and Other Atrocities. Critical reception. David Pringle described I Among the Blind, Holdstock's first science fiction novel, as a dogged, detail, somewhat slow-moving planetary mystery. Ursula K. Le Guin called the same novel as strong a treatment of a central theme of science fiction, alienness, and the relation of the human and the alien, as any I have read. According to Michael D. C. Drought, Holdstock's Rye Hopewood series is a significant part of the fantasy genre, displaying the power and aesthetic standards of Tolkien's fantasy without being either a close imitation of or a reaction against Tolkien. Drought considers Holdstock, along with Ursula K. Le Guin, a worthy inheritor of the fantasy tradition created by Tolkien. Patrick Curry placed Holdstock in a quartet of noteworthy fantasy authors, alongside Le Guin, John Crowley and Marion Zimmer Bradley, for writing fantasy books that come close to Tolkien's breadth and depth of imagination, and in some respects surpass Tolkien. David Langford offers praise for most of Holdstock's work, but regarded Merlin's Wood less highly. The overall narrative is flawed, distorted by its weight of undeserved loss and inaccessible healing. Book covers. The covers of Holdstock's books were produced by a variety of notable illustrators. The original UK and US covers of mythic were illustrated by Eddie Gornall and Christopher Sakharov, respectively. Jeff Taylor illustrated the original UK covers for the mythic sequels Lavondis, The Bone Forest, The Hollowing and Merlin's Wood. Illustrators of subsequent covers and editions include Jim Burns, Tom Canty, John Howe, Alan Lee, John Jude Palancar, Larry Rostand, and Ron Warlotsky. John Howe stated, "Holdstock is to me one of the best Celtic fantasy authors alive today." Awards. The novella mythic won the BSFA Award for Best Short Story in 1981 along with the World Fantasy Award for Best Novella in 1982. The novel mythic won the BSFA Award for Best Novel in 1984 along with the World Fantasy Award for Best Novel in 1985. mythic was published as part of the Masterpieces of Fantasy series by Eastern Press, who described themselves as releasing works of lasting meaning, beauty and importance. Lavondis won the BSFA Award for Best Novel in 1988. The Bone Forest was nominated for the World Fantasy Award in the category of Best Collection in 1992. The Ragthorn, co-authored with Gary Kilworth, won the World Fantasy Award in the category of Best Novella in 1992 and was nominated for the BSFA Award for Best Novel in 1994. The Fetch won the Homer Award for Horror Novel in 1992. The Iron Grail won the Czech Academy of Science Fiction Fantasy and Horror Award in the category of Best Novel in 2002. La Forêt des Mythagus, i.e. the mythic collection, won the Grand Prix de l'Imaginaire in the category of Prix Special in 2003. The short story Scarrow fell in Dans la vallée des statues and Amp, Autosar et Acutites, translated into French by Philippe Gindre, won the Imaginalis Award in the short story category in 2004. Celtic won the Grand Prix de l'Imaginaire in the foreign language novel category in 2004. Select bibliography. Rye Hopewood series mythic Lavondis, The Bone Forest, a novella and short story collection. The Hollowing, Merlin's Wood, a novel and 2 short stories. Gate of Ivory, Gate of Horn, Avilion, Merlin Codex series Celtica, The Iron Grail, The Broken Kings, Night Hunter series The Stalking, The Talisman, The Ghost Dance, The Shrine, The Hexing, The Labyrinth. Other novels are Among the Blind, Earthwind, Necromancer, Where Time Winds Blow, In the Valley of the Statues, The Emerald Forest, The Fetch, Ancient Echoes. The Dark Wheel computer game novella included in Elite.